Hi, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping in. So, I wanted to do a divinity chat on fasting. Um, so, let me give a little background on my fasting experiences. At the moment, I am on day 30 of a 30-day juice fast. Um, I call it a juice fast, but I've incorporated some other liquids into this fast, so it's more like a solid food vacation. But today is day 30. I plan to break my fast starting tomorrow. But my background with fasting, it starts almost 20 years ago with water fasting when I was very involved in a church. Um, that was a big part of my spiritual journey at the time. I think the most days that I did back then were 3 days of just water. And there was a lot of benefit to it. I was learning about the sacrifices that we make for the divine back then, and fasting was a part of it. But my journey has kind of evolved into something different. um, Back in January of 2020, I started my first juice fast. I did not have a set amount of days that I was going to go. I just decided, let's just start and see how long I can go. And so I started. I started with just fruit juice, and I was very strict during this fast. See, I had been doing intermittent fasting for some time now. I got to the point where I was just consuming food within a 4 hour bracket. So when I started the juice fasting, I kind of kept that strictness. I believe, if I remember correctly, I decided to just drink juices within an 8 hour bracket in the day. Long story short, I only drank fruit juice, and I lasted 20 days. On the 19th day of that first juice fast, that first lengthy juice fast, I I was crying. I was in the shower, and I was thinking to myself, like, what am I doing? I have not eaten anything for 19 days. Why am I putting myself through this? My body was changing at the time. I was cleansing a lot of stuff inside of me. I was seeing it come out, and it was not pleasant. And it was painful. It was painful physically, it was painful emotionally and spiritually. But on the 19th day, I decided, okay, Jose, let's break it tomorrow. And so I broke my fast on the 20th day, and I broke it wrong. I broke it incorrectly. I remember I met up with a friend at Balboa Park, and I was so excited to break the fast, and because I was hanging out with my friend too, and so I bought some fruit and nuts, and I ate a lot, and it hurt so bad later on that day. But it was a learning lesson, it was a lesson to learn. I continued on, I went back to eating regular vegan, with the vegan diet somewhat, mainly. And I decided to try it again. I went 30 days on a juice fast. Um, Broke my fast a little more with ease this time. Still wasn't pleasant. I continued to eat again for a couple weeks, and then I did a 45-day juice fast. Mind you, this is all in 2020. Um, Broke that one, and then I did a 60-day juice fast, and that 60-day one was very pivotal for me because I decided to do a mono fruit juice fast, meaning I only had one fruit per day that I juiced. So, example, on day one I had watermelon juice, and then day two was cantaloupe juice, and then day three was apples, and so forth, so on and so forth. 60 days was pretty rough. It wasn't. I take that back. It wasn't rough. It was very intense, and it seemed like it was not that bad. But I learned a lot during that time. I think I want to say during that fast, I learned how to incorporate fats into my juice fast. See, I was watching a lot of content from John Rose, who is known for juice fasting, and on YouTube. And one of the things that he suggested was flaxseed oil, a tablespoon of flaxseed oil a day for men, in order to prevent any gallbladder issues in the future. So when I incorporated that into my juicing, it made it more easier. There was less physical pain, because the physical pains that I was experiencing on the previous juice fast were like in my back area, and I googled it, and it kind of led to that, the lack of fats and whatnot. So yeah, it's my juice fasting experience in particular has been just trial and error learning, and it's been wonderful. I mean, like I said, it's painful, but it's been wonderful. So after the 60-day juice fast, I realized also that when I'm fasting, I'm a raw vegan. I'm pretty much, consuming just fruit juice and a little bit of vegetables. So I decided to just be strict with my diet as well. So I've been eating like a raw vegan since then. So about midway through 2020. So I continued on. I did several other fasts during that year. I did another 30-day, I think. I did a 21-day. I did a 14-day. I did a 10-day. Did another 21, I think. I don't remember exactly, but kind of fast forwarding to now. We're in December of 2022, and I'm just completing I think it's my 15th lengthy juice fast since then. And yeah, I decided somewhere along the line, I had decided that I would only fast when my body and soul called for it. And that's the one thing that I've been learning about fasting and changing my diet and all that stuff is I've learned how to listen to my body and my soul. I know what it wants. I know what it doesn't want. And it's a beautiful thing when you can accommodate your own soul and not be distracted by all the noise around you. So I was called to do a 30-day juice fast starting last month in November. I guess November 6th, November 7th. I don't remember the exact date, but yeah, I started. I started writing down in my journal. Actually, I have it here. I'm going to read to you the entire intentions and reasoning for this fast that I wrote down. But I just want to kind of preface this by saying it was very unclear to me why I was doing this juice fast, why my soul was calling for a 30-day juice fast. I was very unsure about it, but I knew that I needed to do this. So, like I said, when the soul tells me to do something, I do it. Synchronicities and divine orchestration had led me to meet a new friend, and my friend, she has this 3-day fast guide that she's put out for people to purchase and to implement into their fasting routine. And I decided to get it. I decided to join it and see what she had to offer. And it was such a beautiful guide. I incorporated it in the first 3 days, and I listened to the other content, or I repeated the content again throughout the other couple of days, in like the first 10 days of my juice fast. And it really had me thinking, because one of the prompts in the first day of that 3-day guide was you should write down the why, the what, and the why. Write down the what and the why. And I thought that was brilliant, first of all. I kind of already do that. So my personal routine and ritual for doing before I do any juice fast is I kind of prep myself mentally and spiritually. I talk about it. I kind of start imagining it, and I think about my intentions for it. And so usually I write down my intentions in my journal before I start the fast. It's usually the night before. And as part of my ritual that I do, this is just my ritual. And I have friends that share this same type of ritual. They do something similar, but I prick my finger to draw blood, and I put my blood over my intentions. And to me, there's so much power behind that. Seeing my own DNA, my own blood over the things that I wrote down, the intentions that I'm setting forth to accomplish. And it does something to the psyche, to my mind. Psychologically, it does something to me, and I know this. I've observed this, but also spiritually. So, coming back to my 30-day juice fast, I started writing down some things. I'm going to go ahead and read this to you. This is my personal journal, and I don't really share my stuff too often, but lately I've been feeling like I should, so I'm going to. So I wrote down the what. I said, 30-day juice fast, fruit/veggie juice, raw kombucha, urine, cacao, and kava, and also some sea moss is what I'm going to do for 30 days. Why? So on November 7th, I wrote down my gratitude towards doing the fast, and then I wrote down the what, and then I wrote down the why on November 12th. Okay, I spent some time thinking about it, and this is what I said. So I've been spending a few days pondering the why. There are very simple answers I can give, but I want to dive deep. The ultimate answer is my body is calling for a 30-day juice fast. When my body or soul calls for it, I do it. But why a lengthy juice fast? I'm not doing it to lose weight because I don't need to lose weight. A cleansing of my gut is always a good thing, but I've done several of these already and eat very well, very healthy. I'm not necessarily doing this to cleanse my body either. To practice discipline? Maybe. Discipline is a virtue. It's a divine quality that I want to embody. But why have discipline, I ask? What am I having discipline for? What's the purpose for me to have discipline? Well, the purpose is for me to exercise my self-control and self-restraint from submitting to hedonism. I want to live a life of holiness. I want to display in my daily life self-control with the hopes of being an example and inspiration to others. Break. The next day, on November 13th, I took a break, I guess, from writing, and I said this. I saw a meme yesterday that said something to the effect of, we take care of our bodies / health to manifest better. Something like that. It makes sense. I think there's truth to that. I strive to exercise and maintain discipline so that I could manifest my ultimate intentions of bringing forth heaven on earth and the golden age of expansion, to be of value to others, to all that I know and interact with, to bring benefit and high favor everywhere that I go. I want to be the best version of myself that I can be. I do not want to be subject to this world and all of the bullshit that it has to offer. I am the master of my life, and I will achieve all goals that I set out for in my career and life passions. I am that I am. I go on to quote a scripture, Romans, from the Bible, from the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 1 through 2 says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Verse 2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. And then I write underneath that, maybe that's why I do these lengthy fasts. And then I write one more scripture. It says, it's from the book of 1 John, chapter 2, verses 15 through 17, says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. Now, I am not a Christian. I'm not religious at all. Or I don't even consider myself spiritual. But I find a lot of wisdom in the Bible because that is my background. I used to be a Christian, and I still find a lot of nuggets of wisdom that I can glean from the scriptures. So these two scriptures that I read to you relate to, being presenting yourself a living sacrifice, and not loving the world, not being like the world. I'm not sure why I wrote those scriptures down. I think at the time I was just kind of thinking of scriptures that related to not being of the world. Because, in my honest opinion, being practicing raw veganism and doing all these juice fasts and whatnot, it separates me. It definitely separates me from the social norm. I'm not really the ideal person to invite over for dinner, but well, I take that back. I mean, I always bring something that I would eat and that I would share, and I bring stuff to share too whenever I get invited, which is not too often. But anyway, nonetheless, I think the standard American diet, as it's called, or just the typical social normal activities involve eating food, and I don't do that. That's something that I have observed in the last couple of years, and if somebody asks me to hang out, I hang out, and if it's at a restaurant or a bar, that's okay with me. I don't usually partake though, and like I said, it separates me. So I think that's why I wrote those scriptures. But just to finish up this journal entry, I say, so in conclusion, I still feel like the why to my juice fast will become more apparent as I go through this. At this time, I intend to complete a 30-day juice fast to include fruit/veggies, urine, distilled water, kava, some herbal teas, cacao, and sea moss. May this solid food vacation help transmute me into the most highest, bestest version of myself. May it help me to manifest my intentions even quicker. May it help attract all that is best for my soul's highest purpose. May it strengthen me, edify me, cleanse me, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, so that I could be of best service and value to all. Thank you, Hose. Thank you, Sophia. I sign it, dated 11/13/22 at 14:45, and I put my blood over that. So at that time, my intentions for doing this juice fast were still unclear, like I say. But as I've been going through this 30-day solid food vacation, I quickly realized within the first 10 days that this was going to be very hard. And I kid you not, this is the most hardest juice fast, lengthy lengthy solid food vacation that I have ever done. Even more so than the 60 days. Even more so than the first one I did, the 20 days. This has been painful physically. This has been painful emotionally and spiritually. And I was talking to a friend about these feelings, and the subject shifted to the concept of energy and how and force, how there's always equal opposition of force to a force, and I probably butchered that, but you know what I'm realizing during this time is that it's very intense, it's very hard, and I'm not going to give up because I put my blood over these this pact. I said I would do this, and I take these very seriously, these blood pacts. And just as hard and painful as it is, I started to see what it was birthing, which is really freaking cool. One of the most, this juice fast has had this domino effect that set things up that by synchronicities, divine orchestration, and accepting what's to come. I started to see what is being birthed, and it's in motion now. It's actually birthing right now as we speak, and I am so excited. Can't wait to share it with you. I'm not going to say much about it. There's been some close friends that I've talked about this with, and they know. But anyway, you'll see. But nonetheless, it put me at ease once I understood and once I discovered why I was doing this. I want to talk a little bit about why it's been so hard. So one thing. So let me tell you this. I think like within the first 12 days, maybe I want to say 90. I don't know, 10, 12 days. The first 2 weeks, my juicer broke. So my juicer, I have an Omega juicer. It's a vertical masticating slow juicer, and it is a wonderful thing. I love it so much. It is so wonderful. It's brought me so much favor, and I used it a lot, obviously, in the last couple of years. But it broke down. It stopped working. I was like mid juice, by the way. I was juicing something. I think it was apples and pineapple, or apples and grapes, or something, and it just stopped. So I was like, all right, that's fine. I got a blender, so I started blending and started straining the blend. And I was doing my juice like that for a couple of days. A friend of mine told me, she said, you should post about it, so that way somebody might be kind and offer their juice or something. So I kind of sat on that. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to do that. But eventually, I was getting tired of blending and straining. So I posted about. I put it in my story on my Instagram. I tried to fix it. Didn't work out. So posted that story, and my dear friend Jenna, if you're watching this, I can't thank you enough. You are so wonderful. Thank you for lending me your juicer for this time. I'm taking care of it, and I am going to give you some juice like we agreed on. My friend, she offered if I wanted to borrow her juicer, so it's been wonderful. It's been better having a juicer, but that was just a minor setback. It wasn't really too big of a deal, but usually when I do these lengthy juice fasts, I go through an emotional purge because, as the Hermetic axiom goes, as within, so without. I was experiencing that, or I always experienced that. physically uh, purging my gut and my body from a lot of shit that's been sitting there, you know, and it comes out and it manifests emotionally as well. Um, some of you might be familiar with the concept of how emotions are stored in our bodies, and I can wholeheartedly attest to that. Um, yeah, so usually I'll feel like like old thoughts kind of come up, and I start to relive these old memories of like trauma or whatever you want to call it, you know, just bad memories that kind of bring up some what can be perceived as negative emotions. I don't really perceive them as negative anymore, but you know, I feel these emotions intensely, and it brings out tears. It brings out some anxiety, I guess you can say. And usually, when I'm feeling that on a juice fast, I know that my body is getting ready to shove out some more stuff, like intensely. And sure enough, like clockwork or like on schedule, you know, it's like I feel those emotions, and then boom, the next day or that same day, there's a physical purge. Um, it's very interesting. You know, it's been said that we are mind, body, and soul. I agree. We are mind, body, and soul. But to me, there's no difference between my mind, my body, and my soul. It's all one. You know. So yeah, as I'm cleansing myself physically, I also get the urge to cleanse my outer world too, which I still need to kind of focus on. But yeah, I was experiencing some pretty heavy stuff the last couple weeks. Um, I think that was like the major stuff, you know, was the emotions. But what are the benefits to doing all this stuff? The benefits that I find is I feel a lot more energetic when I'm on a juice fast. I feel more alive. I feel more clear minded. I feel more hopeful, more confident. Um, it really boosts my self esteem. Um, you know, there's the benefit of losing weight, which I never do these fasts with the intention of losing weight at all. It's just a byproduct of the journey. This is grape juice, by the way, just grapes. One of the greatest benefits, though, is when I share about it. I've been so fortunate to have like old friends reach out to me via messages and ask me about my journey. Um, you know, they open up to me about why they're interested, and it's so nice. It makes me feel very warm that I have something to offer, whether it's just my experience, you know, and that's all I want to offer. That's all I can offer is just, hey, this is what I do, and this is what I experience. But yeah, it's very. I think that's probably the best thing. You know, aside from all the cleansing and spiritual building up and all that stuff, the edification. You know, it's not about me. It's. I want to bring value to others, so I think that's probably the greatest benefit is you know, when I share about it. One of the in the Corpus Hermeticum, there's it's talks about 10 powers that are like 10 virtues that a person can have, and you know, love, light. There's a bunch of other, or there's a few others, but one of them is share with all. That's one of the 10 powers. Share with all, and it's really the context is kind of talking about material stuff, but I take it in that sense too. You know, I share my experience in my life. You know, experience with all. I have no shame in the way I live. Um, if there's value that can be gleaned from my experiences, even my negative experiences, I will share it. I have no problem opening up about my experiences, because I really, the juice fasting brings so much value to me, just overall. Yes, there's the hard parts, but the value to it just outweighs everything. So my next step now. So today's day 30. It's probably already. It's kind of late right now, so I'm probably getting to day 31 already. But my next step is tomorrow. I'm going to continue with my juicing throughout the day because I got to go to work. So I have grape juice for tomorrow, and once I get home from work, I will consume these. These are 6 ounces of prunes, dried prunes, soaking in distilled water. They're going to soak overnight, and for about almost 24 hours. Well, no, less than that. But nonetheless, they're going to bulk up. They're going to soak in that water, and they're going to get bigger. And there's still going to be some water in here. So this is what John Rose calls the prune test. So I'm going to drink the water when I get home from work. And so throughout the day, I'm going to be having, about almost 60 ounces of grape juice. I think another 16 ounces of kombucha and a coconut, fresh Thai coconut water, which is about 10 to 12 ounces. I practice Shivambu, so I'll be drinking my urine as well. But just liquids. And then I will drink this prune juice water, and then I will eat the 6 ounces of soaked prunes. What does that do? If you're familiar with prunes, they are a natural laxative. So the prune test consists of doing this. I think John Rose suggests 8 ounces of prunes, but I think that's too much for me. So, 6 ounces. What it's going to do is, if my intestines have been kind of cleansed very well, then the prune should go through my system fairly quickly. Usually, when I do this, within about 45 minutes or so, I feel the bubble guts. I'm like, ooh. And go to the bathroom, and it's, a purge. And this lasts for about, I go, and then I stop, I stop, and then I go back to what I'm doing, and then usually within about 10-15 minutes, I have to go again. And this lasts for about 3 hours. So for about 3 hours, I'm dedicating to purging my system even further. It's kind of like one last shot, like to to shoot stuff out. The prune test. So that'll be my only meal tomorrow. And then the next day, I'm going to eat, I think, mangoes. I need to go slow, so I'm gonna juice on the second day as well, and then have some mangoes. I've talked about this before in some of my other content in my videos, but juicy fruits. You want to start off slow with juicy fruits. One meal for the first 2 days each, and then you add another meal. So you do 2 days on day number 3 and day 4. And then you do 3 meals on day 5 and 6. It usually takes me about 6 days to fully break my fast. I'm kind of rushing this one because I'm going out of town. On what day? I'm leaving on the 12th. I'm starting the breaking of the fast on the 7th. So yeah, I only have about so many days, 5 days. Because I don't want to juice when I'm out of town. I'm not going to. I'm just going to be eating fruit mainly. So I have to slowly work my way, though. I'm going to slowly eat fruit. I'm not going to be eating anything too thick, too heavy, too fibery. It's going to be mainly juicy fruits for at least a week. And then, then I'll start incorporating some stuff, maybe salad. So yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go back to my eating like a raw vegan, and I'm just grateful. I'm super grateful for this journey that I'm on, what it's led me to, um, all the wonderful favor that comes with it. I am happy to share with anybody my experiences. If anybody ever has any questions or wants to talk about it or needs some encouragement, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll leave my email um, address in my YouTube details and whatnot, and maybe I'll put it in my Instagram too. But yeah, I just want you to know that I am available to share any of my experience with you if you're interested. I highly recommend fasting. Fasting is a wonderful way to reset your body, to give your body a break from digestion. That energy that's used for digestion is used elsewhere. I find that I'm very creative. You know, the energy gets kind of shifted around in my body into my creative mind, into my focus as well. Um, Water fasting, urine fasting, dry fasting, juice fasting. There's so much value. Intermittent fasting, so much value to it. I highly recommend it all. All right. Yeah, I think I've given maybe TMI. That's okay. I share with all. So thank you for watching this video. Thanks for listening to me. I really appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. You bring value to this world. You mean something to me. Just by watching this video, you mean a lot to me. So thank you. And I wish you well. Till next time.